The I don't dream of labor videos have been popping up all over YouTube recently, and people have been expressing their dissatisfaction with their workplaces, work culture, and their BS jobs. The common refrain we hear is people feeling trapped in meaningless jobs. There is a realization that employers have created a structure that serves the organization itself more than the employee's sense of purpose. On the surface, these videos may seem like a shallow critique of capitalism and self-serving whining of privileged college graduates, feeling disillusioned with their high-paying jobs. The truth is that there is more to it than meets the eye. The main sentiment behind the I don't dream of labor slogan is that one can no longer derive a sense of purpose from their job alone. It is the attempt of exasperated employees who don't feel adequately compensated for their efforts in enriching a company with their hard work. It is partly a reaction to the extreme demands put on an individual by hustle culture, which promotes pushing yourself to the maximum extent possible for finding your status in a hyper-materialistic society. The lack of work-life balance in the never-ending rat race has led to great personal tragedies, with some people even ending their lives due to stress of workplace demands. One of the countries most affected by this issue is Japan. But with the pandemic and lockdowns being instituted worldwide, everyone got an opportunity to pause and actually worry about things that really matter: the well-being of our loved ones and ourselves. Social scientist Dr. Anthony Klotz has coined the term the Great Resignation to describe the post-pandemic trend of many people's desire to quit their current organization or profession to find a more fulfilling way to earn an income. The pandemic-induced work from home finally enabled a remote working experience where people got the chance to spend more time with their families and realized how much of their lives they were missing out on due to multiple hours of commute to and from work and the 9 to 5 surveillance by employers managing their productivity. With the coming in of vaccines, return to work plans are beginning to take effect. After a year at home, many people no longer wish to give up on the flexibility that work from home provides, while for many others, they have come to the realization that their jobs are too much of a burden, in addition to the task of performing household chores and childcare. These people wish to switch careers that will enable a different lifestyle than the one they are currently living. The pause provided by 1 year of standstill also gave people time to reevaluate why they chose to give up substantial parts of their lives for a job that comes with limited growth opportunities and financial incentives. Having to grapple with life and death situations due to a pandemic has given people the space to consider what really matters in life. Is it just the accumulation of more and more money at the cost of time spent with family and friends? People are also quitting from organizations that cared more about extracting work from them during the pandemic rather than worrying about their safety and well-being. On the other side of the anxiety of dealing with an unknown virus and the unprecedented experience of the present generation of global lockdowns, people's priorities have shifted. The way people think of time and space has changed because of a year-long remote working experience. People are now looking for more money, flexibility, and happiness. The concern now is what work means to us. How are we valued by our employers, and how we spend our personal time. People complaining about the excessive focus on career are not lazy individuals who are looking for an out. They simply no longer wish to overextend themselves to an unfulfilling career. Some of them propose creating passive income streams for a better quality of life. Others no longer wish to work under someone else and are more interested in becoming entrepreneurs themselves. Still others wish to only do freelancing jobs and are satisfied with the limited income that part-time employment brings. and are moving towards a more minimalistic lifestyle. The pandemic has revealed the importance of a company culture that values emotional and physical well-being of its labor force. If organizations wish to retain talent, they will need to step up in the arena of adding value to personal lives of employees by holding conversations with them and listening to their needs. They will need to make room for flexible work times and restructured work days. Only by adding more hours of quality time for leisure, family, and other creative pursuits can they promise a better incentive to their employees for staying on in their current positions. Social scientists Mark Bolino and Anthony Klotz argue that a good manager requires more than just common sense. They admit that engaging and retaining employees is a complex task. Lazy management, as defined by Bolino and Klotz, have two components. First is the managers blaming low performance and high turnover on the employees rather than on the organization. Second is managers looking for quick solutions to complex retention problems. By doing so, the lazy managers free themselves from the hard work of changing their management styles to increase employee satisfaction and performance and decrease the turnover. Simple solutions for complex problems take the form of pay raises and bonuses. These quick fixes do not help. The lazy managers don't realize that employees mainly wish to be treated fairly and find meaningful work. 3 actionable steps can be taken by organizations to avoid lazy management. First, to be good managers and retain their employees, managers should resort to pulse surveys to gauge the needs of employees. Second, good managers should keep educating themselves of ever-evolving employee retention tools and be willing to experiment with various tools until they find one that gives them the desired results. Finally, the organizational leaders should be careful not to employ managers whose strengths lie only in technical expertise, because they have been inappropriately taken away from what they do best. It is inevitable that managers only equipped with technical skills will turn towards lazy management and be focused on short-term objectives rather than long-term goals. 2 dimensions need to be focused on for an improved quality of life. First is less work days in a week. Second, less dependence on income from work for basic sustenance. Looking at the first point, the possible benefits of 4-day week are cost cutting, increased productivity, and work-life balance. A 4-day week for employees and students will give them additional time for family, leisure, and friends. A refreshed workforce will be more productive than an overworked one. We can also reduce the operational costs and environmental costs of keeping companies and schools open by reducing 1 working day per week. Second, universal basic income is the concept of unconditional transfer of cash to each citizen by the government. As a result of the 4th Industrial Revolution, we will witness a largely automated future enabled by nanotechnology and advanced computing. We are staring in the face of a messy, technology-induced unemployment. Universal basic income is seen as a solution to tackle this problem. The critics of UBI fear that this will disincentivize work and make people less productive. They also feel that just handing out cash to citizens will become unaffordable for governments in the long run. But experimental UBI schemes have shown to varying degrees that giving people an assured sum of money each month with no strings attached leads to better education, mental health, less trips to hospitals for physical ailments, decrease in addiction, crimes, and divorce rates. Overall, a society with UBI reports increased happiness and reduced poverty. Also, most people don't stop working just because of UBI. They gain more confidence to become stay-at-home parents and raise healthy, happy children. Invest in becoming entrepreneurs or produce better creative work as artists and thinkers. Some countries that have experimented with UBI are India, Iran, US, Canada, UK, Germany, Iran, Namibia, Brazil, Spain, Kenya, Uganda, Finland, Netherlands, and Israel. While the I don't dream of labor and the Great Resignation are symptoms that indicate underlying problems with the present form of capitalism, these movements are by no means anti-capitalistic. In fact, if handled by good managers and not lazy managers, organizations will make note of employee dissatisfaction with their meaningless jobs and make appropriate changes based on the changing needs of society. This will also future-proof workplaces and employees in the event of increased mechanization and reduced need for human labor. Policymakers and organizational leaders should embrace the shift in employee mindset towards work brought on by the pandemic and propel it towards a changing work sphere where we are all headed towards redundancy of human labor. These shifts in mindsets are bringing in together socialist morals and capitalistic ambitions. The two need not be seen as competing interests. If we understand capitalism to be dynamic economic growth based on capital accumulation and socialism as a system of social ownership of the means of production, then the current events marry the two, allowing organizations to have a happier workforce by listening to their grievances, by taking interests in the personal well-being of their employees and creating better work satisfaction through creating meaningful jobs. Organizations can create better outputs and increase profits for themselves. What are your thoughts on this subject? Leave a comment and let me know. Thank you.